Most traders think that profits come from doing more and learning more, but the truth is you already have what it takes. Real consistency comes from getting more clear, from clarity. In this video, I'm breaking down the simple supply and demand rules that finally help you trade better with confidence that will help you to become profitable right now. Okay, now I'm going to simplify some things and give you 3 core rules that will help you trade supply and demand zones with confidence. Okay, and our rule number 1 is always trade fresh zones. All right, so a zone is considered fresh when price has never returned to it after leaving. So when price explodes away from a level, like it is doing here in this demand zone, so click 1 hour demand, and so you can see that price is exploding away from this zone. And this is the first time that it's left this zone like that. And that means that smart money left unfilled orders behind, most likely. And so the first time that price returns to this zone, like it's done over here, these orders are going to get filled, and that's where we're going to enter. All right, and so keep in mind that every time price taps back into a zone and reacts, there are fewer orders that remain there. And so the more touches a zone has, the weaker it becomes. All right, and so we can see that price exploded away from here, away from this demand zone, tapped back in. So when it taps back in, we're going to wait for our reaction. We could use a 3-bar reversal with our first bar occurring at 7 a.m., the second at 8 a.m., and the third at 9 a.m. on this day. And so we would have gotten into the trade with our stop loss below the zone and our take profit at the nearest area of support or resistance. Let's consider a supply zone next. So here's a supply zone where price has aggressively moved away from the zone. So we can mark this zone with our tool. We know that we use pink for 1 hour supply. All right, and so what we would do is we would mark the supply. We see aggressive moves away from this zone. And so what we're doing is waiting for price to come back up and tap this zone. And so we would continue, and we could see that it taps back in here. And so what we would do is wait for a sell signal, which would be either a 3-bar reversal or an engulfing candle. If we see price coming into this area, we could go down to a lower time frame to see if we can find this on the lower time frame. So we'd go down to the 15-minute from the 1 hour. So let's do that next. Go down to your little calendar over here and look for August 28th and click that and then say go to, and then that'll take you to August 28th. So you don't have to continue to scroll back to look for it. All right, and here's a 3-bar reversal here. Here's our first bar, which occurs at 2:45, our second at 3, and our third at 3:15, with our high above the zone. And we would want to be sure that we're shooting for at least 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. So here's our next area of support or resistance. And we would want to be sure to remove some from this area here. This is an area where price has bounced before, so we want to be sure to remove some profit here and let our trade continue to run down to our 2.67 area. And that brings us to our second point, which is to set a stop loss and a take profit at an area of support or resistance that is going to give us a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3. Okay, and this is a 1 to 2.75. You reach the first area of support or resistance, which would be right around in here, be sure to secure some of your profit. You can secure at least half of it, and then you can leave a runner. Even if the win rate for our strategy is low, like below 50%, if we aim for a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 3, that leads to overall profitability. And finally, we always want to wait for price to come to our zone and wait for confirmation before we enter. Okay, so on this day, we noticed that price created a zone. It pushed away from this area. Okay, so here we are at market open. We see that price did tap into this 5-minute demand zone, but we don't enter the trade yet. We have to wait for confirmation. So what we're looking for is an engulfing candle to the upside or a 3-bar reversal. Okay, there we go. Now we have it. Here's our first bar at 9:30, our second at 9:35, and our third at 9:40. This is not just a setup, this is a high probability system. And this works with our strategies. This is how we build consistency, and this is how we build profitability.